The middle class built modern America. It bought the homes, filled the suburbs, sent children to college, and powered the world's largest economy. Now, that foundation is quietly cracking. Millions of people are working harder than ever, yet owning less than their parents did. So where did the middle class go? And if it's disappearing, who's taking its place? This isn't just a story about expensive houses or rising grocery bills. It's about a much bigger shift, one that has been unfolding for decades. By the end of this video, you'll understand why wages stopped keeping up, why wealth became concentrated at the top, and why many economists believe the middle class is facing its biggest challenge in generations. Because once you see how these pieces connect, you'll never look at the economy the same way again. There was a time when one income was often enough. A factory worker, a teacher, or an office employee could buy a home, raise a family, own a car, and still save for retirement. This became known as the American dream. After World War II, the US economy exploded. Factories expanded, productivity surged, millions of well-paying jobs appeared. As businesses became more profitable, workers benefited too. For decades, wages rose alongside productivity. If companies earned more, employees generally earned more as well. It wasn't perfect, but millions believed hard work led to a better life. Then, something changed.
Quietly, almost unnoticed at first. If the economy kept growing, why did so many families start feeling poorer? That question leads us to one of the biggest turning points in modern economic history. Beginning in the late 1970s, productivity kept climbing. Workers produced more, technology improved, businesses became more efficient, corporate profits grew dramatically. But wages barely kept up. For decades, the connection between productivity and worker pay slowly broke apart. The economy became larger. Stock markets reached record highs. Yet many households felt stuck. At the same time, manufacturing jobs that once supported entire communities began moving overseas. Companies searched for cheaper labor. Automation replaced repetitive work. Millions of stable middle-income jobs disappeared. New jobs appeared, but many paid less or offered fewer benefits. The ladder that once helped people climb into the middle class became much harder to reach. But if incomes weren't growing, how were families maintaining their lifestyles? The answer would reshape American finance forever. Credit became the bridge. Instead of higher wages, people borrowed. Credit cards expanded rapidly. Auto loans became longer. Student debt exploded. Mortgages became larger. Debt made it possible to keep spending, even when incomes weren't growing fast enough. For a while,
It worked. Homes became more expensive. Consumers kept buying. The economy kept moving. But there was a hidden cost. Debt doesn't create wealth. It brings tomorrow's income into today. And eventually, the bill arrives. The 2008 financial crisis exposed exactly how fragile that system had become. Millions lost homes. Jobs disappeared. Entire neighborhoods collapsed. Yet after the crisis, something unexpected happened. Asset prices recovered much faster than wages. And that changed everything. When central banks lowered interest rates and injected money into financial markets, stocks surged. Real estate climbed. Investments recovered. Those who already owned assets became significantly wealthier. Those who didn't fell further behind. This created a powerful divide. Income comes from work. Wealth comes from ownership. If you own businesses, stocks, or valuable property, your wealth can grow even while you sleep.
But if your only income comes from a paycheck, your financial future depends almost entirely on your next payday. As housing prices rose faster than wages, buying a first home became increasingly difficult. Student debt delayed homeownership. Higher rent reduced savings. Saving enough for a down payment became a challenge for millions. The middle class wasn't simply earning less. It was losing access to the very assets that create long-term wealth. But housing wasn't the only pressure. There was another force quietly reducing purchasing power every single year. Inflation rarely announces itself dramatically. Instead, it slowly changes everyday life. Groceries cost more.
Insurance rises. Healthcare becomes more expensive. Childcare increases. Utilities climb. One expense alone may not seem overwhelming, but together, they reshape household budgets.